Introduction. A pitch that sparked a firestorm. What was meant to be a light-hearted promotional event turned into a diplomatic and cultural flashpoint. The beloved characters of Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, Tanjiro Kamado and Nezuko Kamado, recently made an appearance at a Japanese baseball game to throw the ceremonial first pitch. The event was part of a promotional campaign for the upcoming film in the franchise. However, the decision to hold such an event so close to Korea's Liberation Day, a deeply symbolic and emotional national holiday, sparked outrage among South Korean citizens, activists, and media. The backlash was so intense that the South Korean release of the film was ultimately cancelled. This development has reignited conversations around the cultural sensitivities that linger in East Asia due to complex historical relations, especially between Japan and South Korea. Act 1. The ceremonial pitch that went viral. On August 5, 2025, at the Tokyo Dome, fans of both baseball and anime cheered as mascots of Tanjiro and Nezuko walked onto the field wearing customized team jerseys. As the crowd erupted in applause, the characters reenacted a humorous skit mimicking Nezuko's box entry and Tanjiro's sword stance before throwing the first pitch. Japanese media covered the moment widely, celebrating it as a successful fusion of pop culture and sports marketing. The animation studio behind Demon Slayer, along with major sponsors, had invested heavily in this promotional campaign. Exclusive merchandise, themed ballpark snacks, and even Demon Slayer-themed home runs were part of the day's excitement. Yet, across the Sea of Japan, the reaction was starkly different. Act 2. Liberation Day and Lingering Pain. August 15 marks Korea's Liberation Day, the day Korea regained independence from Japanese colonial rule in 1945. This holiday remains a powerful reminder of the nation's painful past under Japanese imperialism, a period marked by forced labor, cultural suppression, and systemic exploitation. In South Korea, the timing of the Demon Slayer promotional event, just 10 days before Liberation Day, was seen as tone-deaf at best and politically charged at worst. Critics pointed to the franchise's controversial historical aesthetics. While Demon Slayer is not explicitly political, the show's Taisho-era setting and the uniform design of its Demon Slayer corps have drawn comparisons to imperial Japanese imagery. The rising sun motif, associated with Japanese militarism, has been a particularly sensitive topic. Social media exploded with hashtags like #NoDemonSlayer in Korea and #RespectLiberationDay, with many users urging the film distributor to reconsider the release. Act 3. Calls for boycott and growing public pressure. South Korean civic groups, including the Korean Council for Justice and Memory, issued public statements condemning the event. It is unacceptable to glorify symbols that resemble imperial imagery so close to a day of national mourning and reflection, one group wrote. Film critics and influencers added fuel to the fire, dissecting past controversies around the franchise. Some pointed out that this wasn't the first time Demon Slayer had drawn criticism in Korea. Earlier seasons were met with protests due to the stylized design of earrings worn by Tanjiro, which were believed to resemble the rising sun flag. Although the design was modified for international releases, scars from that incident had never fully healed. As public outrage mounted, several prominent Korean theaters began to quietly pull promotional materials for the film. Ticket pre-orders dropped sharply. Eventually, the South Korean distributor, under immense public pressure, announced that the theatrical release of the film would be indefinitely postponed. Act 4. Japanese media reaction and creative defenses. Japanese media outlets expressed surprise at the intensity of the backlash. While some right-wing commentators dismissed it as an overreaction, more balanced voices called for cultural sensitivity. Koyoharu Gotoge, the original creator of Demon Slayer, released a short statement through Shueisha. The characters and their stories were created purely from a place of imagination and empathy. Any resemblance to historical events or symbols is coincidental and unintended. I hope this story continues to unite, not divide. The animation studio, Ufotable, also emphasized that the baseball appearance was meant to bring joy to fans across the world and was not tied to any political agenda. Despite these clarifications, the damage was already done, at least in Korea. Act 5. Korean fans caught in the crossfire. Ironically, many South Korean fans of the Demon Slayer franchise found themselves caught in the crosshairs of this controversy. Online fan communities in Korea expressed deep disappointment over the film's cancellation, noting that many had been eagerly awaiting the continuation of the Mugen Castle arc. I understand the historical context, but I'm heartbroken, wrote one fan on a popular forum. I just want to enjoy the story and the characters. Why must we keep mixing art with politics? Another fan wrote, the studio should have been more careful with the timing. They know how sensitive August is for Koreans. These voices reveal the complicated duality of being a fan in politically charged climates, loving something while simultaneously being wounded by its symbolism. Act 6. The larger question, can pop culture ever be apolitical? This incident opens the door to larger questions. Can anime, or any pop culture, ever truly be separated from politics and history, especially in regions with unresolved traumas? Experts say probably not. Dr. Ji-won Kim, a cultural historian at Seoul National University, remarked. The issue is not that Demon Slayer directly promotes imperialist views. It's about the subconscious cultural coding embedded in its world building, designs, and promotional decisions. When popular media borrows imagery from a painful past, even unintentionally, it reopens old wounds. Similarly, Japanese sociologist Drive. Kenji Yamada noted, cultural sensitivity is not about censorship. It's about understanding that your work will be interpreted through the lenses of others, especially your neighbors who share difficult histories with you. Act 7. Corporate fallout and market implications. The film's cancellation has also had ripple effects on the business side. Korean licensees who had invested in Demon Slayer merchandise are facing losses. Promotional campaigns with local partners, including themed cafes, limited edition goods, and pop-up stores, have been halted or significantly scaled back. Meanwhile, Korean distributors have become more cautious in licensing Japanese properties. Insiders say that projects once considered for localization are now undergoing stricter review processes, particularly regarding visual elements and calendar timing. On the Japanese side, the incident serves as a wake-up call for marketing teams. While Demon Slayer remains a juggernaut globally, it now faces the challenge of restoring trust and navigating delicate cultural lines with its international audience. Act 8. Moving forward, can the flame be rekindled? Despite the controversy, both creators and fans hope the rift can be mended. Some Korean viewers have suggested digital releases with localized changes or the inclusion of historical disclaimers to contextualize the content. Japan-Korea cultural exchange has always walked a tightrope, with flare-ups and reconciliations defining its journey. From K-pop collaborations with Japanese artists to anime's enormous Korean fanbase, the potential for healing through shared creativity remains strong. Both countries' governments have not commented officially, but soft diplomacy experts say the entertainment industry must now shoulder greater responsibility in cross-border cultural engagement. Conclusion. A lesson beyond animation. What started as a playful, animated pitch at a baseball game turned into a mirror reflecting deep-seated wounds, nationalism, and the global responsibility of pop culture. For Demon Slayer, this incident will likely be a defining moment in its international legacy, not because of what the characters did on the field, but because of what they unintentionally symbolized off it. As the storm settles, the question remains, how can creators and fans build bridges without ignoring the ghosts of the past? That answer, much like the ongoing journey of Tanjiro and Nezuko, is still unfolding.